Let's go for Fika. But first, let me explain you what exactly is the word Fika means. The word Fika comes from Sweden, so it is a Swedish coffee break, which basically means you catch up with your friend or long distance friends and go for a coffee break with a Swedish pastry. But Forbes describes it as a premium coffee break because nowadays in a workspace, colleagues practice it by just taking a break from your day to go for a fika, that is to go for a coffee break with a pastry or something. And that's what we are going to do here and try to practice it in Mumbai. It is practiced around the globe, but let's see if we can also do it in Mumbai. How is fika different and what all it consists, we are going to show you right now. Let's go.
Fika, the Swedish secret of happiness.
That we are going to find out now.
So we are having a classic cinnamon, which is a Swedish delicacy that we have. But now we are having cinnamon and coffee. And maybe a muffin. Delivery options, you can have the pretzels. They're freshly baked. Coffee and the cinnamon are here. So basically what fika consists of is that you have a spread of 7 cakes or biscuits, cookies. It has to be like 7 or 6, that was what the concept is. And with your coffee, of course, your choice of coffee. And the one dish which is very famous, the Swedish dish which is famous for fika, is the cinnamon bun and the princess cake. Princess cake we couldn't find, but we had the cinnamon bun. Concept of fika is where you are taking a coffee break with either your colleagues, where the traditional way was you go out with your colleagues to take a break. Usually it was done like in the early start of your day around 10 to 3, where you go out and it's casual talk that you have apart from your work talks. And that's the whole concept of it. And the spread that you get of the 7 cookies or cakes, there is an order in which you eat. So you start off with something which is a little less fancy, and then you end it up with eating the most fanciest dish that you have, or the cookie that you have, and then you have your coffee. So basically that is how it goes. You have either you drink and you have a conversation which is very light and casual, and then that's the break that you take.
So the modern take of fika or the fika around the world is practiced by just going to any cafe and having something sweet or a baked item, especially a cinnamon or a cookie or even a pastry. And it's not necessary that you have to go to a cafe. You can also go to any park or any garden or any space like a public space where you can just sit with your friend and have a casual talk with him or her and just enjoy the warm cup of coffee. There's also the Swedish drink like a black coffee, but now it's also modernly taken as you can have your own cappuccino, mocha, anything warm to have that conversation starting and keeping it light. This is actually the way of recharging yourself and going on with your day, and which is something that we don't do here in Mumbai or in India, but something that you cannot practice looking at the fika culture of Sweden. And there's also a lot more that comes with the Swedish culture that we will tell you after some time. So stay tuned. So we are done with fika. That's how you do. And as the concept comes from Sweden, what else do you think about Sweden or Swedes or its culture in general?
The way I was introduced to this country was by watching videos, and that has always been my go-to place to see anything about Sweden or Swedish, about the country or the people. But after doing all research, or when I was searching about this topic for Fika, what I came to know was the discipline and the importance that people have for others' well-being is what I really admired about it, about the country and the people, about the Swedish culture. And they have so many concepts related to such things, which were really like wow. Okay, they consider people and the work culture and just the healthy environment. It is also one of the reasons why it is considered to be one of the happiest countries.
I think similarly that you said about the well-being and the happiness. So I do know a lot about Swedish culture because I do follow a lot of people who are from Sweden or they are Swedes basically. And the Swedish culture is about health and happiness. So let me explain. There are simple habits or the culture that the Swedes follow for their health and happiness. So the first word that I've learned is lagom. It also has a book for it. It means not more, not less, but just right. And it doesn't translate to balance. It translates to something which you feel which is just right. You don't really have a word for this in English, but now if you want to just say not more, not less, but just right, that is lagom. You can also read the book, which is also a very popular book, just like Fika. There's lagom. Another term that the Swedes use, which is called nixel, and it actually means the art of doing nothing. And by here, it doesn't really translate to mindfulness, but if you sit in a park and just admire the nature or wander on your own, and it's something that also sparks your creativity or make your mind calm. That's something that the Swedes practice. That's called nixel. Sweden is a place of tradition just like India, but they do follow a lot of their tradition in their closed group of people. Like Fika is one of the traditions that they follow. This small Scandinavian country has always impressed me by its culture or by the kind of growth it has taken place with different companies that they have. It's also one of the most productive country in the world. So they always do something in terms of productiveness. It doesn't really mean that you have to lift like heavy weights or go to gym, but just walk in general or practice some kind of motion. That is also a kind of a tradition or a part of culture that they practice. So that was our take on Sweden and the concept of fika.
Every country people do take like breaks for coffee or tea, which is very general. The only difference that I found was the concept of actually taking the break and having casual conversations help you with getting disconnected with other work, and that is the main reason why this tradition is still ongoing. It was introduced in the 90s or the 80s, but it's still followed by all the generations in Sweden.
And now by us as well. So it's like fika around the world. So maybe yes, it is the secret of happiness, the Swedish culture fika. So let us know if you want to practice this or if you will practice this in Mumbai or in India. And thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.